my most anticipated game of 2020 outside of Crash Bandicoot 4, which you saw my hype. I was insane about everything Crash Bandicoot related. So this is my life right here. This presentation, and then I'll switch over to the Game Awards feed afterwards. This will give me the best idea of what I'm going to expect from this game. So let's get this bad boy started. I'm ready for this. Oh man, I'm so hyped for this game.
You don't believe in no fate. Every day digging the grave. Step in the pit with the snakes. City of dreams, city of...
Oh man, it looks so good.
Hello and welcome to this, the very first episode of Night City Wire, a brand new series from us at CD Projekt Red, where we'll be talking about all things Cyberpunk 2077.
All right, here we go. 200,000 viewers here.
We'll be starting with a brand new trailer. One of our developers will be joining us to help unpack everything you're going to see. We'll have some news, an announcement about a secret collaboration. We'll be taking a look at some Braindance gameplay and welcoming back our developers just to have a chat about everything you're going to see. But there is one more thing. Media all over the world have been getting hands-on with Cyberpunk 2077, and when this episode finishes, you'll be able to go and check out exactly what they thought. So, let's get started.
I'm watching this on 1080. Imagine
Imagine
playing this in 4K. Graveyard, what's up, dude?
Our lead quest designer Pavel Sasko will be joining us because I've got a feeling you're going to have a few questions after watching this. So, let's take a look.
All right, here we go. Trailer time. Oh man, here we go.
I love this town. The city of endless opportunity. Ready to get your cherry popped? Yeah, come on.
City like any other, just bigger.
Nah, mano, not just any other
Just
city.
a bit.
Legends are born here.
There we go. All right. So let me know if the audio sounds good to you guys.
We're only here because Dex is pulling the strings. Doubt that puts us in the same league as them.
But we are. They just don't know it yet. But if you got the cojones and you know how to use them, you can do damn near anything.
Unless you catch a bullet.
Even then, you go out with a bang, right?
You know, you can make heaps more eddies as a motivational speaker.
Yo, Mr. V, a pleasure.
So what's the gig, Dex? You meant to come out in one piece? How about we go over the plan?
There's this prototype tech, a biochip to be precise. Jobs to grab it.
Guessing it belongs to a corp.
Arasaka.
We're robbing some heavy hitters.
Thought you could blackmail me, fucker?
High risk, high reward. First rule of the afterlife.
Ka-ching, baby.
Goes without saying, we do this on the hush. Ideally, no bodies, not a one.
Sounds simple enough.
He's lit, assholes!
Is it
This
gonna be
looks so
dangerous?
Don't
insane.
you worry, mi amor. We're bulletproof. Get your ass moving now!
Ooh,
What
some
the fuck just
hand-to-hand
happened in
combat
there?
too?
Can't
Okay.
stop digging Night City.
Fucking major leagues. Happy now, Jackie?
Yep, that's fucking high! Time to bail!
Oh my god, we're so fucked.
Wow. Oh, that.
Dex, what the fuck?
What?
Can't risk it, V.
And you, who are you? Fuck.
What? What the hell? What is? Dude, just the fact that we're
So
seeing.
the trailer contains
I'm
footage
sorry,
from
what?
the game's prologue only, but there was an awful lot in it. So Pavel, why don't you
That's
try
just
and
the
help us
prologue
unpack
too.
everything that we just saw?
Damn.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely, I can try. So, what you have just seen is only the prologue of the game. So that awesome stuff is only
Dude,
happening.
this is like
in the
5
first
hours.
few
That's
quests.
at least 5
What
to
the
6
trailer
hours of
shows you is
gameplay.
really our
And that's
state,
just the
Night City. You know,
intro.
this
That's not even the
gigantic city
like
built of
later
6
on in the
completely
game.
unique
What?
districts, surrounded by the 7th one that we call the Badlands. As a player, you are meeting Jackie. Jackie's your friend. Now, they together are trying to reach out for something that is very precious. They are trying to reach out for this chip of immortality, this gateway to eternal life. Jackie introduces you to Fixer Dexter Deshawn. He's a very
Dude,
important
my mind
person
is
in the
blown
social
too,
ladder of
Grave.
Cyberpunk.
Holy crap.
He is able to provide the player with various jobs and contracts to be able to gather money, to be able to modify their bodies, push themselves to the limits, to put their hands on the chip. But as you can expect, not everything goes as planned, and but to see it, you will have to play the game.
There are an awful lot of really cool things in this trailer, and there's a few that I would just love to talk about a little bit more for the people at home. So let's start with talking about a gang called the Mox. Now, we see a few flashes of them in this trailer. I personally think they're really cool and one of my favorites, but can you give us a little bit more information about them?
Also, just FYI, I almost bought that Cyberpunk RPG kit when I was at PAX Unplugged. I was really close to buying it. I don't play a lot of like RPGs, tabletop RPGs like a D&D and stuff, but I almost did it with Cyberpunk. I was this close.
And she was protecting working guys and girls from harassment, from abuse, and the gang is really continuing her mission. And as a player, you are going to interact with that gang, meet multiple different NPCs, and craft your own relationship with them, and understand what they are all about.
So earlier on, you did mention a 7th district, a place called the Badlands. Now, we saw a few shots of this in the trailer, but I'd love for you to give us a bit more detail about the district outside of the city walls.
Okay, so the Badlands is this like dead, dried out space going around the whole Night City. And as a player, you
it looks like the desert from GTA 5, like Trevor's area, if you remember, parts of GTA 5.
By the nomads. Nomads are living in different families, and they are traveling across that space in convoys made out of the cars and motorcycles.
Wow.
And as a player, you'll be able to traverse and access different type of open world content that has been prepared specifically for you to get that awesome feel of the Badlands as an area.
In the trailer, we also saw like a completely metal creature. Now, he didn't look like he was from the Maelstrom gang. This looked like something else. So please tell the people at home, who is this giant metal monster?
Okay, so that big dude, that was Adam Smasher. He has been introduced in pen and paper in Cyberpunk 2020 by our senpai Mike Pondsmith. Adam Smasher is a fully converted cyborg. He was always a loyalist of Arasaka. And time has changed, and in 2077 he had to find his own space in Night City. But to find out, you'll have to play the game.
In this trailer, we do see some flashes of a Ripper Doc called Victor Vector. I think if people have watched our previous gameplays, they might remember him. But I'd really like for you to give the people at home some
Grave,
more
you know
information
what?
about
Here's my thing. I don't mind it being first person because I know, like, I understand that CD Projekt Red has primarily been focused on doing third person like they did with The Witcher. That series was all third person and how you can see the world and everything. And I know that first person gameplay doesn't really give your character a vibe to represent the customization that is possible in this game. But Deus Ex kind of did customization pretty well, and nobody complained that that was strictly first person. So I don't see too much of it being a big deal in regards to, this being first person. So it's whatever to me. But yeah, dude, this trailer, like the action, like imagine like all the action you can do in a game. And you just experience it in first person. Like it just looks like it's going to be so concise. In regards to like everything you can learn in this game.
Later in the episode, because you're going to be helping us to analyze the Braindance gameplay. But before that, we do have some news to share. Earlier in the year, we announced that if you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on Xbox One, you'll be able to play it on Xbox Series X when the console launches. And just in case you missed it, it will be the same for PlayStation players as well. If you pick up Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 4, you'll also be able to play it on PlayStation 5 when the console launches. And that's not all. There will be a free upgrade for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, but we'll have more details on that soon.
Okay, they confirmed that upgrade.
Before we reveal our first look at the Braindance gameplay and welcome back our developers for a chat, there is just one more thing we want to announce. Something that we've been working on in secret for a while. We are very excited to announce our partnership with Studio Trigger and Netflix to bring you Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a standalone anime set in the Cyberpunk universe.
Whoa.
Which we've been working on for some time now.
An anime?
Edgerunners is due to launch in 2022, but for some more information, let's go to the team in Tokyo.
Jesus, 2022 for this damn thing? God. That's like a bigger delay than the freaking...
Elder. I am the Japan-based producer for Cyberpunk Edgerunners. What I do basically on this project is that I am a fixer, to put it in the words of the Cyberpunk universe. We are a game company. We are a bunch of nerds, and wherever there are nerds, there's going to be anime fans. so it was always a dream for us to make anime. When we began this project,
give me a sneak peek of the anime at least. I want to see what kind of like intricate styling you can do with this.
Cyberpunk Edgerunners is a standalone story set in the same universe. The stage is still Night City, but everything else is totally new. New characters, new story. I do like to think that it's going to be a great gateway for newcomers to come and check Cyberpunk game and also the Cyberpunk genre as a whole. Right now we're in Nakano, which is one of the biggest anime meccas of the world. I'm going to take you to Studio Trigger right now because we have the wonderful opportunity to talk to the Dream Team that will be bringing you this
going
anime.
Going to Japan is such a goal right now. I need to go one of these days.
監督の今石です。
キャラクターデザインを担当する吉成です。
ゲームのサイバーパンクのファンの方、今回初めて触れる方両方に満足していただけるようにアニメを作るつもりです。よろしくお願いします。
今回はそのサイバーパンクという僕らが10代の一ファンにしか過ぎなかった頃に生まれたジャンル。
So much fun watching this bad boy. Holy crap! I'm loving everything I'm seeing right now. And I haven't even seen a lot of the gameplay. I'm just excited from that trailer, and I'm so excited, you know, to see an anime based off of the styling. I do want to learn about Trigger and what they're, you know, what they've done in the past, because I'm sure that if I go off of their past work, I'm sure I'm going to be able to learn a lot more in regards to it. Oh, that's all I need to know right there. Actually, you know what? Nope, say no more. I mean, The Witcher turned out great as far as a Netflix series, so I expect it to look really, really good for Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk 2077. Braindance is essentially a recording of somebody else's experience. It allows you to relive their sense of sight, smell, touch, and even hearing, all thanks to a special device. After the gameplay, I will be welcoming back Pavel Sasko. I will also be joined by Patrick Mills, our senior quest designer and all-round lore master, who will be helping to answer your questions and give you some explanation on how you'll be interacting with Braindance when you play Cyberpunk 2077. So, let's take a look.
Plan simple.
Alright, here we go. Gameplay. Look at this.
You go in, snatch the cash, get out, and we sell the BD to those psycho freaks from the studio.
Got it.
And remember, everything on full blast. They'll spot us extra for a wicked adrenaline high. Okay, on you go.
Oh, it looks so smooth. Alright, let's see.
Down! Everybody! On the ground! I want to see you kissing the flooring! Money! Now! Or I will fucking drop you! I swear to God! Well, yeah, hey... now! Before I blow your fucking head off!
Damn. Oh! The hell?
Ah!
Slow, deep breaths. Your cortisol and adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated your hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
What the?
That was too much. Could feel the guy's pain, his stress, his hope. Hope wrapped up in something else.
Probably took a booster just before. You'll be fine. Got everything set up? Let's switch over to editing mode.
Lizzie Jizzy. Oh, we're going back in.
I'll sever the link to the BD Roller's sensory array. You'll be able to look around freely. Whole scene's yours.
Oh, now we're in
cam control and analysis mode, so move around, zoom in and out, whatever else you come up with. Think of it as your own little sandbox.
What is going
so,
on?
Analysis mode, you control playback. Can even pause when you feel the need. Then you use the editor console to unpause. Try it.
Alright.
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative. You go in, snatch the cash, get out, and we sell the BD to those psycho
This is just as smooth as the,
Got
what, you know, if we saw it in first person.
Well, that's not all. You can speed things up or rewind, whatever you like.
Alright,
Give it a try. Rewind, roll it back to the top. All good, neat. Now try fast forwarding a bit.
What is this?
Plan simple. Do nothing odd. Don't be creative. You go in, Snatch cash, get out.
Okay. You can also reset the recording. That'll take you right back to the beginning.
All right,
Try it.
so Y just takes you, boom, you're just right back at the beginning.
Now for some fun. This here's why you came in the first place. In analysis mode, you get to view and even scan details of the enviro recorded by the BD roller. Focus on the heat, the gun this gonk gets from his buddy at the beginning. Now scan it.
All right, so I guess.
Mine's simple. Do nothing odd. Don't get creative.
All right, so
You go
now
in,
we
snatch
watch.
the cash, get out. And we sell the BD to those psycho freaks.
So fast forward until we get to the gun. There it is.
Right here.
All right, so
Excellent. Let's move on. Now heads up. In analysis mode, you can ferret out background noise and conversations if the roller got close enough.
Huh.
This tech records everything, every little detail, even the sights and sounds the roller was never aware of. To see the sources of the recorded sensory signals, switch to the audio layer in the editor. Go ahead and try that now. Okay, good. Now you should see several sound signatures in the store. Choose one.
all right, so there's a sound signature in the store, and then there's the one over there. Wonder why there's two of them.
Pack of 6, case of Brosif, and a couple of zappers.
Okay, we have a deal today on 2 flavors, Cuddy and
Down,
Surfing.
everybody!
So, any thoughts?
Unbelievable. Seriously, like what's happening right next to me.
Yeah, it's how BD recording implants work. They pick up everything, all
Hmm.
the elements in the background. Then an editor tweaks them, makes them pop. Keep playing with the sound, explore it a bit. We'll move on when you get bored.
All right, so now we can. So now it's free roam.
What I see you kissing the flooring! Money! Net!
Sometimes you can analyze extra layers in the raw, stuff the roller's cyberware picked up.
Okay.
Like what?
Ev's got Kiroshi optics that grab infrared, meaning you should be able to grab heat signatures from her recording.
Huh.
Hella nice.
This is
Scanning works on
wild.
peeps too. Walk up to the wounded chick. Try scanning her. Alright, next thing. Scroll forward to the part where our artist gets a lead injection.
Or I will fucking drop you, I swear to God! Well, hey, now!
Okay,
Fucking
so
head off!
nothing yet. So he puts the money, right? Okay. Now, this is where the recording stops.
See that? They shot him and he never saw it coming.
Who shot him?
But you will. Here it comes. My favorite part of the game. See the blinking thing over the entrance? Surveillance cam. Must have caught our shooter. You'll see in a sec. Cam feeds to the screen behind the clerk. Roll back to where the screen's in the kid's field of vision, then scan it.
Okay, rewind. There's a CCTV Is that it? Oh, that is a CCTV. Was it hidden?
His own Chumba shot him. Probably planned to all along. Must have got a nice slice of cred on the black market for a BD like this.
Wow.
BD freaks are ready to pay a preem for a real flatline. Anyway, if you've seen enough, you can exit.
This is nuts. The detail in that,
impressive, right?
just that sequence alone, right?
Most of the BDs we do here are only good for flogging the log.
That's the
So Braindance is a pretty big part of the cyberpunk universe. It's not just something used for adult films. There is an awful lot to it. And there's two sides I'd really like you guys to help me explore. First is the lore, so how this actually fits into the universe, and then there's the gameplay side, so how players will be interacting with it. So Patrick, could you tell us more about the lore of Braindance?
I would love to. So in the world of Cyberpunk 2077, Braindance was invented way back in the early 2000s at UC Santa Cruz.
This
It
is
was
so
developed as a way
good.
of recording a person's experiences and then playing them back for someone else so that they could relive them as though it was happening to them. It was originally used for things like therapy and prisoner rehabilitation, but by 2077 it's become this global media industry, including things like movies, mass entertainment, things like that, video games, some interactive things, and of course adult fare as well. Now, in our game, we deal a lot with black brain dances, or XBDs as we call them, and there are different types of those, but the one that you saw in the trailer just there was a flatliner. Now that's where the person recording it actually dies during the recording. And it's popular with sort of an illicit kind of a thrill, but A mercenary can also use them for various things, and you'll see that in the game, of course.
And from the gameplay perspective, we have been working a lot throughout last years trying to figure out the best way how to use the braindance in the game as a mechanics. So what we have settled on is this braindance editor mode. As a player, you will be able to run the braindance in the editor mode and see different clues that have been registered on the peripheral of a given actor. Now, as a player, you can slide on the timeline of that recording, back and forth, trying to uncover different clues. And that clues are actually telling a story in the game. So, as a player, you will run different investigations that will lead you to different mysteries, and you will uncover them actually using that braindance as a mechanics in the game.
So, as Pavel was saying, we use braindance as a storytelling tool. It's not a collectible. It's not something where you're going to go in and you're going to play it and you're going to be like, I've seen this before. What we use braindance for is to give you a keyhole into the life of the residents of Night City. And we can explore things like childhood trauma, religion, various philosophical ideas in a way that you might not otherwise experience in a story about a mercenary on the tough streets.
So we've tried to talk about some of the aspects that we think the community will find really exciting, but you know, while you're both here, I'd love to know, what is it about Cyberpunk that you guys are really excited for? Patrick, why don't you start?
So one of the things that I'm most excited about
I think like
is the characters.
I didn't realize how deep Cyberpunk was going to get in terms of like its world, in terms of what you can do in the game. But now that I'm seeing it in person, further than what we've seen in the cutscenes or that demo we got from a couple years ago, this is massive.
What is this person? What do they do in the story? But we don't stop there.
Nuts.
We go back and we figure out what was their childhood like, what was their upbringing like. What kind of obstacles did they face in this harsh reality, and did they overcome them, and how did they overcome them, or did they not overcome them, and why? And you can see all of those things in their environment, in their dialogues, in sort of how they operate in the world. And we come up with that for all of our characters. Now, you look at someone like Victor Vector, and you're going to see stories about his past in his environment and in his dialogue. You know, we come up with that stuff even if we don't use it in the game, because it helps inform us as to who these characters are.
And for me, I would not be myself if I would not say that I'm the most excited about our quests. Like with our Witcher 3 team, with Patrick and like everybody that has stayed with us since the Witcher 3 time, we really have grown so much. We have learned so much, and we have used all that experience to put them into the quest that we have made. And you will not find really a filler in this game. Like everything has a meaning. Like we put so much effort into making sure that everything is rewarding, is interesting, is talking about
like you
characters.
Can't see your player. That's cool.
It's talking about worlds. It's talking about emotions. Like touching the player in a really, like a real way.
Wow.
And I just can't wait to find out what you think.
Pavel, I know you mentioned story and quests and writing quests, and when I was last in the studio, I had a look and I saw a notebook on your desk, and I would love for you to show everybody this notebook.
Okay, Holly, I mean, you asked for it. So this is my notebook. It says Salsa Quest Designer. The reason is because I dance salsa, and I'm a quest designer, so you know.
Nice.
So I started this notebook actually when we were really starting Cyberpunk. At the very beginning, I wrote like a first note, and it says pretty much something along the lines of that we were starting with a prototype. And then, you know, I kept on basically noting things that we've been working on for like next years.
Wow,
I remember
look at that.
once when our concept artists actually approached me, and they said that they want to take a look on my notebook. I was like, what for actually? And they took some pictures, and they told me, yeah, well, you know, because we are looking for a reference material for notes of a psychopathic killer. so yeah.
Oh, man.
You may find maybe some of my notes in the game.
That could
Pavel
be...
and Patrick, thank you so much for joining me.
That's going to be very interesting.
I'm pretty lucky because I have read some of the stories that you and the team have written for Braindance, and I'm pretty excited for people to discover them. But before we do finish today's episode, there is just one more thing we'd like to talk about. Earlier in this episode, I mentioned that media have been getting hands-on with the opening of Cyberpunk 2077, and they should be posting their impressions right about now. And if you missed anything from today's episode, don't worry, we'll be uploading everything to our channels very soon. And finally, on behalf of everybody at CD Projekt Red, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us for this, the very first episode of Night City Wire. But don't worry, we'll be back with episode 2 in just a few weeks. So, we shall see you soon.
I may react to Night City Wire the next episode. We'll see how that goes. If I'm gonna do the next reaction. Oh, dude, I got so much out of that. Do you think we just saw the game of the year? In all honesty, did we see? Do you think that's going to be the game of the year? I know we've gotten Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know we've gotten Resident Evil 3 this year. I know we got Animal Crossing New Horizons this year. But I think we might have seen the game of the year right now. Two things. Number one, it has to come out around the time of the Game Awards. So I know the Game Awards are in the first-ish week of December. And then I also know that Cyberpunk comes out November 19th. So that's a short window to try to analyze if it's going to win Game of the Year. Especially considering Death Stranding was nominated last year, and it only came out 3 weeks before the Game Awards. So yes, the press and the media are going to have access to the game. Those voters, the voting board, will be able to play the game. So that way their votes do count. I understand that, and that's fine. But I think we might have seen the Game of the Year. Assuming it holds up its promises. That's the number 2 bit. Let's assume that the game holds up its promises. Then I think it wins Game of the Year. If not, then there's the possibility that Final Fantasy VII Remake wins the Game of the Year. Or Animal Crossing because of how dense that game is. I'm trying to remember the rest of the big games that came out this year. But those 3 are sticking out in my head. Maybe Ghost of Tsushima, maybe Last of Us, if the controversy is still not too fresh. There's also that as well. So Last of Us and Ghost will have a big play in this whole thing. I know. I'll tell you this much. I know what's not going to get Game of the Year: Marvel's Avengers. I did a live stream for the reaction to Marvel's Avengers War Table stream yesterday, and that didn't go well. Again, the only good thing is that the game does look better than what I saw in New York Comic Con. The bad news is the gameplay does not look better than what I saw at Comic-Con. So there's a deviation between those two, which is kind of sad in a way. It sucks, man. I had high hopes for that game because, you know, I played games like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, X-Men Legends, Marvel Spider-Man just 2 years ago. So it just sucks that you're gonna have that kind of game not hold up the way you want it to. So I don't know, man. Like, Marvel's Avengers, what are you doing? Please. I hope that when you show the game again, it feels like there's going to be a lot to it. Then we'll see. But if not, that's going to be sad, man. Grave says, if the game does work, as they say, yes. Oh, yeah. If the game works, if Cyberpunk is everything that these trailers, that the reveal promised, the 45-minute demo from last year promised, this Nightwire promised, the gameplay Jeff Keighley's about to show, if this is all legit, game of the Year, instantaneously, snap of a finger. I only have to touch it and it's probably going to be Game of the Year. But once I touch it, it'll probably be Game of the Year on PlayStation 4, it'll probably be Game of the Year on PlayStation 5, both. It's very, very possible.